I am here officially in my capacity representing Mozambique is also joined. I'm here in my capacity representing an organization called UCA, United Kingdoms of Africa. I'm here also in my capacity representing AIM, African Indigenous Movement. I'm here as a founder and driver of Farmers of Thought, which is an organization that you all know, which is a thinking institution for the greater part of the African educational space. I'm also here in my official capacity representing ZIM, Zimbabwe Indigenous Movement, which is a movement specifically looking at transformation of the greater Zimbabwean people. I'm also here in my full capacity as a spokesperson of the Embo Kingdom under the governorship and under the kingship of King Bungani. And above everything else, I'm also here as a citizen of the greater African Al-Keblam people. I am quite disturbed to be making this announcement this morning. And the announcement is in line with the mischief that is happening at Africa Union. Under the leadership of Farke, the chairperson of the Africa Union, who has been there now for the past 4 years, and is asking for an extension for another 4 years. But in the 4 years that he has been in power, we have not seen anything that we can write home about. Firstly, we want to outline and make it clear that under the watchful eye of Farke at Africa Union, who happens to be a Francophone himself from the French colonies, the exclusion of Dr. Chihombori from running for chairperson of the African Union will not keep us silent. We need to raise our voices, and for the first time, we're not only happy that a woman was actually running for the office, but we are not even electing on the basis of gender. We are electing and making an announcement on the basis of power, on the basis of interest. And as a nation, the African nation, I think we have it in our hands to also be given the power to elect who we want to assist to drive the Africa Union. And under the auspices of Farke at Africa Union, we have seen the French colonies, 14 of them, continuously being ripped and raped by France under the watchful eye of Farke, who supervised the project with such precision to make sure that more than $500 billion a year was moved out of African countries into France under his watchful eye as a watchdog for the French government. African countries have continuously suffered, paying taxes, as it were, taxes of colonialism to France. This is how it happens. When you are getting independent, you must sign a document that allows the continuity of colonialism, but under a financial arrangement, that you need all your reserves as a country, as a sovereign country. You need to make sure that all your reserves are in the French government. And they're not only in the French bank, but when you want your money back, you can only get 20% of it at interest rates which are competitive for the world. Now, where in the world do you see that you take your own reserves as African countries, you give them to a French country, and when you want your money, you are taking it back to yourself as a loan? You can make your own calculations and see how this injustice has been happening on the African continent under the watchful eye of Farke. Farke must go. You will not get another extension in that office. Farke, step down. Farke, take an early retirement and stop the mischief. We also hear that under your supervision, your brother-in-law is now the ambassador in Europe. Your own brother-in-law. Is it possible, therefore, that you have converted Africa Union into a personal private business? Under your watchful eye, Honorable Farke, we hear that the Africa Union offices are actually backed by the Chinese, and that all the servers of Africa Union are being supervised by the Chinese. You are selling African information to the Chinese under your own supervision. Under your supervision, Honorable Farke, wars in Africa have constantly raged. To none of your conversation, we've never seen you, Honorable Farke, making a statement on anything. We saw black people dying in America. You are silent. Poverty is raging on the continent. You are silent. War is going on. You are silent. Sitting around the 18th floor of the Africa Union and making sure that your pocket constantly gets deeper and deeper. I want to make a comment this morning that challenges your position. We know how Africa Union has been designed, and that only presidents of countries are the ones who are going to be voting for the person they want to become the chairperson. But we know that our African presidents have not stood up to the task, have not been of benefit to us. I challenge the Africa Union immediately to put a system in place and allow the common people on the African continent to vote. Not even by ballot, we can vote by internet. We have these softwares now. There is no reason why we can constantly pontificate the Africa Union offices as a brothel of African politics, where the Europeans are coming to do as they please on the African continent, under your supervision, Honorable Farke. To make it worse, when a woman runs for the chairmanship, when a woman runs for the chairmanship of the same office, you find it convenient, in your own space, using your own discretion, using your own power politics, you exclude Dr. Chihombori from running for chairmanship of the Africa Union. We want a fully written report as to why you are excluding her from these elections. And we are saying as Africans, we are saying as UKA, we are saying as AIM, we are saying as ZIM, we are saying as Farmers of Thought, we are saying as EMBO, and we are saying as Africans that enough is enough. You step down, and it is time that we allow a different breed of leadership to come into power. I challenge Honorable Ramaphosa. I challenge Honorable Mnangagwa. I challenge all the honorable presidents of the African continent. Don't fall asleep on the job. When you have an opportunity to effect change, stop compromising the African continent on the basis of friendships. Farke is not a friend to the Africans. He is a friend to the French. And for that reason, he must be allowed to take the money that he has accumulated through Africa Union and go and retire himself in France. For that's what he is interested in doing, in terms of maintaining his pocket and constantly making sure that his friends in the European space constantly see him as a good boy who supervises African projects on behalf of the Europeans. So we want to make a statement this afternoon that Honorable Chihombori will run for Africa Union. Honorable Chihombori will run for Africa Union. And if we are allowed to vote as Africans, allow us to make our voices heard and let us put a person to champion the African agenda to the best of our abilities. We know Honorable Lumumba decided a few days later on that he would not run. And who else can we put? If there are names out there of people that we think can actually have the interests of the Africans at heart, I think it is high time that we begin to speak and speak correctly. We cannot have vipers and snakes managing our projects. We cannot have watchdogs of European interests sitting on the highest office of Africa as a president, as a chairperson of Africa Union. And under your supervision, you have not even established one factory that can produce toothpicks. Under your supervision, you have constantly made sure that the pangs and the fangs of European power and grip are maintained on the Africans. Under your supervisions, the Chinese are breaking into our colonies and breaking into our countries. And under your supervision, you want to tell me that you want to stop a woman from running for office because you want an extension. You want another 4 years in office, another 4 years of appointing cousins and brothers-in-laws, another 4 years of giving Chinese an unlimited check access, another 4 years of allowing the French to abuse Africans, another 4 years of you sitting in your office and running Africa Union like it is your personal private business. And I think this honeymoon, Honorable Farke, this honeymoon comes to a stop. Go home tonight, start packing your bags, and start sleeping correctly. I am making a declaration, I'm making a call to all African presidents. For the first time in your lives, as African presidents, please, 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 stop bribing us. We've seen enough of Farke. We don't want him in office with his cronies. With his cronies. The whole group of Africa Union must take a walk. We want leadership in Africa Union that can begin to discuss the value, discuss the direction of Africa as a united kingdom. We want to put people in power who will understand the agenda for the Africans, not who have memorized the agenda for the French people. It will not happen that while we are here as Africans, we play around some technicalities of diplomacy and exclude each other from positions of influence because we're being influenced by the Europeans. Honorable Farke, with all due respect, you have had your tenure, you have had your time. Please, pack up your boxes, pack up your bags, leave that office.